so shiny, but I had to answer. Okay. Why am I happier being single?
Let me just clarify. So a man asks her, why are women more happy being single? Throughout history, women have actually been treated like chattel, right? Along with different races of people being treated like chattel. So back in history, women were just meant to serve men, have babies, and she didn't have a life. She couldn't speak. She couldn't vote. She couldn't do anything, right? She didn't have any rights. She couldn't work. And the women that could work were women that either lost a husband or, never had a husband, and they were pushed into prostitution and things like that, or manual labor, like they were pushed into really hard work. So the women that did work got paid very little, where their bodies were used up. And now that women actually, have a say so, which is what, a certain party wants to eradicate. They don't want women to have these kind of freedoms. They don't want different racial groups to have these type of freedoms either. And because of that, you got these movements that want to push women back, like they did in throughout history. Let's continue. This is her
I will
perspective.
say, as a person who's been married twice, and I'm 48 years old, I am I am so much happier not having to take care of a man. And that's the irony of men, in my opinion, that they want to provide and protect. They want to provide what exactly? Stress? Because in my life, men have provided nothing but stress and disappointment. They've provided a lot of promises and no follow through. They've provided a lot of annoyance, a lot of messes, a lot of dishes in the sink and dumps in the toilet. Like, honestly, it's been a suck fest to be married to men. And I really, really tried with my second husband, especially because I thought, all right, I'm not going to fuck up this time. But what happened is that the instant they get you, they devolve. They lose all sense of knowing how to do anything. And I honestly think at this point that they get a wife so they can have a house slave. Like, why else would they get married? They would just stay alone and supposedly bang whoever they want, which is also a myth because they're not. And so then a lot of people think, my family, that I should date again and whatever. And supposedly, fine, Mr. Right, finally. It's freaking hilarious, man. I'm 48 years old, like I said. I make good money. Guys who make the money that I make and do the type of jobs that I do, they don't want a 48-year-old woman. They want a 24-year-old woman. And guys who are my age who would want me to take care of them because they're poor. So I just can't imagine, I can't imagine even attempting to find my equal. I never have. A partner? A man who actually wants me for me. My ex-husband did, my second one. But he also wanted a slave and a mom.
Okay, so that was pretty interesting, right? So she said that even in her 40s, which, at that time, usually the kids are raised, right? But her ex-husband wanted her to be a house slave, not only a house slave. So this is what men are looking for women to do now. They want women to bring in a real good amount of finance, right? But in the same token, But in the same token, they still want her to be home and clean up, clean the house after them, do the laundry, cook the food. They want her to be a superwoman for them, and they are providing absolutely usually nothing in a relationship. Like, a lot of men nowadays aren't even providing finances, even in the workforce. Like, I can see the difference between some men and how they interact on a job. Like they, even on a job, a lot of times are looking for women to do everything. There are women co-workers, they're looking for the women to do everything, and usually the women will do it. But in a relationship, so these men, even if their kids are raised, they're still looking for women to do everything, to clean the house and to cook and everything. This is the thing. And okay, let me disclaimer this one, because there's really good men out there as well, okay? So I'm not saying all men are doing this. That's not what I'm saying. But a good portion of the population are doing this. So these women, this particular 48-year-old woman and other women that are younger like her, are like, no, I can work and I can make a nice, peaceful, safe haven for myself in my home, and I can go date when I want to, and I can go have my flings when I want to, and I can come, and I can come home. So the real reason why a lot of these men on social media want to prevent women from having abortions, it's not because when they are ready for a woman to have abortion, they don't want her to, because they do. It's because they want to take away her sexual freedom and her right to be able to be single, go home, have her peace, and go about her business, go work her job and come home. And then on the weekends or whenever, she has her, her outlet. They don't want that. They've never wanted women to have autonomy with their own bodies. They've never wanted women to be free in a society. They've never want her to be able to develop herself. She's always been meant in certain types of patriarchy to be a slave unto men, because that's what the system is really set up for. And so when you have anything that counters that, you have a whole group of pissed off men who want to put women, quote unquote, back in their place. And disclaimer again, I'm not speaking about all men. Clearly, I'm not. But even the men that I'm not speaking about can recognize other men who do this, if we're honest.